over 40 years, they have all stood taller, prouder, and stronger than all the rest. A class of athletes like no other, fearless, undaunted, never deterred. Their sport also unique, never mainstream but always relevant, where glory comes at cost to both body and soul. Today it all begins again. 25 courageous competitors from all corners of the globe come to Florida's Sun Coast to take part in a competition like no other, for a title in sports like no other. The title of World's Strongest Man. Welcome to the 2019 Tachi Palace World's Strongest Man. Bradenton, Florida, Florida's Sun Coast ambassador with its authentic coastline, idyllic barrier islands, and its welcoming vibe. Brent Stover alongside former two-time All-American and Super Bowl champion, it's Aaron Taylor, and we are pumped for another World's Strongest Man.
Yes, we are, and today the first group of competitors begin their fight to sit atop the throne, a group that features our reigning champion, Hafþór Júlíus Björnsson. After 6 consecutive years of near misses, Hafþór finally reached the summit last year in the Philippines. But in order to truly defend his title, he must advance from his group and fight off the likes of next-gen competitors like Raffael Gordzielik, aka Godzilla, and Kearney of the United States.
Our first event up is a World's Strongest Man Classic, but with a twist. It's the truck pull with monster trucks. But first, a closer look at the competitors of group number 1 in the qualifying round with our Tachi Power Profiles.
Stoltman, Great Britain. This is my 4th year competing in World's Strongest Man. And I'm addicted to that adrenaline I get. I mean, that kind of buzz, that atmosphere that you get. You do a good lift, you know, you win an event. I mean, that's my happy place. You know, that's what I feel like I've been put here to do. I'm very passionate about being a Stoltman. I want to create that legacy in Scotland that when people remember that name or say that name, Stoltman, they think of strength and strongman. And Scotland as a nation, we've come from the warriors, the kind of brave heart, and that's what I envision myself to be, you know, as a modern-day warrior, if you will. Yeah, I'm here to make the final, and no one's going to stop me this year.
Raffael Gordzielik, Germany. I'm really excited. I mean, this is my first World's Strongest Man. It's really nice. I love it because it's friendship. It's like a big family. Even if you're new, everybody says, well, come on, let's do it. You can do it. Nobody, I mean, even Hafþór or Brian Shaw, they are not like the nose up, I don't talk to you like that. Everybody is helping each other. Yeah, I'm really excited for this competition.
Hafþór Júlíus Björnsson, Iceland. I'm obsessed with being the best I can be. I want to say, like, I take it to another level. Not only did I win a title I've been chasing for a decade, I also won basically everything else I could win in the strongman sport. I always thought that being on the top would be the most difficult part. It actually is the other way around. When you're always placing second, third, each year you feel like you're failing. That is more difficult than being on the top and staying there, I feel like. If anyone beats me, I'll just take my hat off for them and congratulate them because they're the better man that day. Of course I'm gonna win, you know?
Kearney, USA. The past 2 years at Worlds, I was just a competitor. This year, I'm a contender. I've trained my ass off for this contest. I also want to become more of an activist for the LGBT community. For me, I'm just trying to be visible and open about, you know, how accepting and loving this entire group is.
They've just been open arms and embracing, so it's just great to see that in the strongman community because there's not that many out gay athletes, especially at this level. It's only Rob. He's the leading platform to have that awareness. You can be gay and you can be strong.
To see the support here at World's Strongest Man, I think it warms up the conversation that much more.
Zake and Muluzi, Great Britain. I'm super excited. This is things that dreams are made of. Luke Stoltman was the guy who introduced me to strongmen.
You know, when you meet people, you just know that they've got a natural strength in them. I mean, I remember this guy coming in the gym and he pulled like a 300 deadlift off the ground like it was nothing.
And they came up to me and was, oh, you know what, this would be good for you.
So I says, we've got the Scotland's strongest man qualifier, put his name down.
A couple of weeks later, he came up to me and said, oh, by the way, I signed you up to Scotland's strongest man. You better show up.
I don't think he knew how strong he was.
Came third behind Luke and Tom Stoltman. I turned up and never looked back.
Zake Muluzi representing Great Britain, first-timer World's Strongest Man. Here in downtown Bradenton, the athletes of Group 1, the first event, the Monster Jam Truck Pull.
Yeah, Brenton, in this beastly test of strength and endurance, the strongmen will pull a combined weight of 25,000 pounds down the 22-meter course in 75 seconds.
First World's Strongest Man appearance for Germany's Raffael Gordzielik from Stauffenberg, Germany. Small town less than an hour from Frankfurt. Says it's got everything you need. I wonder if it's got monster trucks that you can pull down Main Street.
Well, he's certainly a big man from a small town. He's going to need tremendous leg drive and bicep and shoulder power to get these 25,000-pound trucks down the course.
He's 6'7", 375, known as German Godzilla. And he is off and rolling in the Monster Jam Truck Pull.
Looking pretty smooth here, Brent. Keep in mind, Gordzielik is making his first ever appearance at World's Strongest Man, and this is his first event. I don't see any butterflies or jitters out of this guy.
Not at all. Part-time strongman, also a legal expert at a federal employment agency. Trying to find his way to the finish line, 22-meter course. The clock nearing 45 seconds.
Slow and steady wins the day. This is where you have to really dig deep and find it, because everything in your body is aching when you get this truck close to the finish line.
Gordzielik trying to get to the finish. And there it is. Just past a minute for the German. And he seems more than satisfied in this his first event at World's Strongest Man 2019, as you mentioned.
Well, after a long, strong pull to start, Gordzielik used impressive technique and coordination to set the bar at a little bit over a minute, checking to see where that finish line was as that rope swings side to side.
And now the defending champion from Iceland, Hafþór Júlíus Björnsson, finally getting over the hump last year. And he is a mountain of a human being, plays the mountain in Game of Thrones, the worldwide popular series that just wrapped up. And here he goes to begin his run to defend his title at the 2019 World's Strongest Man.
Just a straight machine, Brent. You saw how quickly he got those two Monster Jam monster trucks past their initial inertia. He almost seems to be accelerating here. Great body lean, those big arms pulling on the rope, those big tree trunk legs with some great push. He is blazing down the course.
This is how you get it done. In his 9th World's Strongest Man, trying to get to his 9th World's Strongest Man final. And he looks good to begin the qualifying round.
Well, Brent, this is an event where mass matters. And at 6'9", 441 pounds, Hafþór's the tallest and heaviest athlete in this year's competition. Look at that time, 34.36 seconds, absolutely demolishing the bar set by Gordzielik just before him. Smooth and consistent all the way out. Hafþór looking to make another strong push for another title.
And we check in for the first time out on the course with Jenny Dell.
All right, Thor, you say you usually get nervous before the first event. How important was it to come out and perform like you just did?
It's super important. I felt I was strong all the way through. Yeah, now we just wait and see what all the guys do.
You got the win last year, #1 World's Strongest Man. Do you feel added pressure coming back in the competition this year?
To be honest with you, I don't. I felt a lot more pressure. I was always playing second, third, back and forth. You know, I have such a huge support system, and felt like I was always letting them down each year. Now I'm a lot more relaxed. I am the current champion, so now I just have to do what I do best.
Looking to be a champion yet again. Great job in the first event, Thor.
Thank you so much.
Thor off to a fantastic start, but Coming up, 3 more athletes will take on Gravedigger in the Monster Jam truck pull. Can anyone defeat the mind-blowing result of Hafþór Júlíus Björnsson? Find out when we return to the Tachi Palace World's Strongest Man, presented by Rogue. Welcome back to downtown Bradenton, where we continue Group 1's first event, the Monster Jam truck pull. 2 athletes have already competed. Both competitors completed the task, but Hafþór Júlíus Björnsson put up a time that's going to be hard to beat, and now 3 athletes remain. Zake Muluzi, representing Great Britain, originally from the African nation of Malawi. Making his first World's Strongest Man appearance, part-time strongman. He's also the branch manager of a rental car company. And he resides in Scotland with his wife and son, and here he goes in the Monster Jam truck pull.
Could you imagine getting a fender bender, returning your car late, and have to deal with Muluzi? My goodness. Pretty good start for this young man, though. Got a little bit of a wider base, which is a technique we don't see very often in this event, which requires everything you have to be synced up, working together. Muluzi seems to be a little disjointed with his technique here.
He played American football in Scotland, and his coach nicknamed him the Malawian Monster. Right now, he's got a couple of monsters trailing him in the form of these massive trucks, and it's going to be tough for him at this point to get across the line.
This will check your want to right here. Everything in your body is in pain and aching. Your muscles starved for oxygen. But look at Muluzi, unwilling to quit, the heart and determination, but just not the gas in the tank.
Never really, Aaron, was able to find that rhythm that we always talk about in these pulling events, whether it's pulling monster trucks, cars, airplanes, and that's a tough one for Muluzi.
No question. The effort and strain were there, but this is an event that requires the coordination of the entire body. The rookie did his best, but the 25,000-pound welcome wagon really took its toll.
So now Rob Kearney, from the United States, 5'10", 285, lives now in Massachusetts. And one thing about this event being in Bradenton, Florida, the crowds are amazing out here for the first event, and you know they're pulling hard for the American athletes.
Well, we talked about the fact that this is an event where mass matters. Kearney's only 5'10", 285 pounds, so he's at a distinct disadvantage based on his muscular structure. However, he is one of the pound-for-pound strongest competitors here, and look at that powerful leg drive and big arms pulling on that rope. After a little bit of a slow start, he's got a nice rhythm here.
Making his 3rd appearance at World's Strongest Man, trying to get to the final for the first time.
Now he's starting to slow down a little bit, and this is the part of the course where it almost looks like it starts to go up. A little bit of a bobble there, but did a nice job of keeping his balance. But this is going to test him here towards the end. This will test anybody.
This really highlights the fact, Aaron, that Thor was able to put up a time of 34.36. Think about that.
Just amazing. Hafþór never really broke stride. And all the credit goes to Kearney. He's not giving up here, but you just wonder how much he's got left in the tank.
Kearney straining, trying to get to that finish line. And the whistle blows, time limit 75 seconds, and Kearney checks out. So he goes into 4th place, taking the monster truck a distance of just under 19 meters.
Kearney's as strong as an ox, but the punishing poundage of this event eventually breaks him down. But I was really impressed with his athleticism to get back on his feet and keep going.
Up next is Luke Stoltman, representing Great Britain. Resides in Scotland. His 4th time to the World's Strongest Man. You heard in the power profiles, he expects to make the final this year.
Been impressed with Stoltman over the years. Just seems to get stronger and stronger. Power is not a problem for this Brit.
His best finish has been 3rd in the group, and all 3 of his previous times to World's Strongest Man, he has placed 3rd in the group, so just out of qualifying for the final.
That tight base is starting to cross over on itself a little bit, but he regains his rhythm. We've talked about that, how important that is here. And Stoltman pulling on that rope with those big pipes. And those strong legs doing an excellent job of pulling these Monster Jam monster trucks down the course.
The short, choppy steps. It's not bad. I mean, it may not look as good, but he's still got a pretty good rhythm. And as long as those tires are moving, you got a shot.
You have to be willing to endure some pain to complete this 22-meter course. And Stoltman's showing us what it takes.
55.72 to his knees and then all the way to his face. That tells you everything you need to know.
I'm fine. Easy.
I guess he's fine.
Easy, he says.
He moves into second behind Thor.
Well, Luke showed great endurance and upper body strength pulling on that thick rope. Even gets his tongue out for good measure, and it seemed to work. An impressive second-place finish in this event.
So Hafþór Júlíus Björnsson picks up where he left off last year and takes the Monster Jam truck pull. The first event for qualifying group number 1. Luke Stoltman, still an impressive time of 55.72. He gets second. Gordzielik in his World's Strongest Man debut takes third. Muluzi and Kearney unable to complete the task. With one event down, the reigning champion, Iceland's Hafþór Júlíus Björnsson, showed his dominance, but the other competitors aren't backing down. The Giants Medley is next on the Tachi Palace World's Strongest Man, presented by Rogue. We are back in downtown Bradenton, Florida, where the athletes from Group 1 took on the second event of the day, the Giants Medley.
Brent, in this intimidating test of grip strength and dynamic movement, the athletes will have to move 3 objects down the 21-meter course, which finishes with a spine-crushing 1,325-pound super yoke.
And let's see how they fared.
Really excited about the moving events this year with there being farmers walking yokes.
Medley, farmers into yoke, and then another yoke.
I just want to come here and do myself proud and do my wife and my son proud as well.
You're doing the farmers walk 160 hand, which is heavy enough. Then into a 420 yoke. Then into a 600 kilo yoke. If it's going to be a spine breaker, I'm not looking forward to that.
Seeing that we have a 1,300-pound yoke as the third implement in this medley, I think is scaring a few guys.
Such a massive weight. That's going to be a hard event.
I just get excited about that.
At the start, you've got that nervous tension in the area, you know, it's that kind of, before it all starts, it's that tingling sensation. Then when it does go, you can almost relax because you can release that nervous energy.
It is a good group, but these are really good events for me.
I'm bigger this year, a lot stronger than I was last year, more focused.
I can run farmers, I'm a good yoke runner.
I've got another big American in the group, Rob Kearney.
People know me because of my log press, but what they forget is I've only lost the yoke walk once in my career.
I have the world's strongest man, Hafþór Björnsson, in my group.
Paired up with Thor, you know, just lights a fire into my a little bit more, you know, going against the best in the world.
I want to win this title more than anything. And I believe I want to win it more than anyone else. I hear some slap.
It's unfortunate that Thor got injured in that event. You know, regardless of the injury, I had him beat through the farmers, was ahead of him on the yoke, and then to be the first person to finish that entire medley out of everybody that's gone so far, it was just a really big confidence boost for me. Any pain back here?
I heard something snap.
Right here?
Here. I've never had this during a competition where I hear something snap.
Right.
It was painful.
When we get back to the hotel, I can do an ultrasound on it. and take a look at all the tendons.
I could always still compete.
If it's the fascia,
Yeah.
yes, you can compete.
Then it's just pain.
It'll just be painful, right?
You did the right thing, brother. You're still gonna win this. I know you can.
With defending champion Björnsson's injury in the Giants medley, the door is now wide open for the other competitors to get to the final. An impressive showing by Kearney, taking first as the only person to complete the course. After that win, USA's Kearney is now 1 point out of first, but the three-way tie at the top leaves little room for error. So will this injury affect Hafþór going forward? Next, the athletes will have to deadlift 2 Monster Jam Speedsters as many times as they can. This is an event you won't want to miss when we return to the Tachi Palace World's Strongest Man, presented by Rogue. Beautiful Coquina Beach on Florida's Anna Maria Island is where Group 1's third event, the Monster Jam Speedster Deadlift, takes place.
Now we're talking, Brent, because in this classic test of static strength, the athletes lift a pair of Monster Jam Speedsters with a combined weight of 825 pounds from the ground to the level of the hips. Most reps in 60 seconds wins.
Head referee and 4-time World's Strongest Man champion, Magnus for Magnuson.
Representing Great Britain.
Zake Muluzi representing Great Britain. He's in 5th after 2 events in his first ever trip to the World's Strongest Man. Crowd's been amazing here in Florida this week. Brent Stover, Aaron Taylor, Jenny Dell, 2019 World's Strongest Man in Florida.
Rut roll. Muluzi struggling with getting his first rep. Now remember, this isn't a conventional deadlift. There's a fulcrum on the back of this apparatus, which typically makes this easier because you can lean back into it, but Muluzi tapping out with 0 reps.
Reminds me of the old Mike Tyson line, Aaron. Everybody's got a plan until you get punched in the face, and that is the reality in these events.
And 825 pounds of Monster Jam Speedsters will give you all the smack you want.
So Muluzi, tough sledding in this event. Raffael Gordzielik representing Germany. He's the co-leader in this group number 1 after 2 events.
Gordzielik participated in NFL Europe and was in the training camp for the Rhine Fire. He liked throwing people to the ground and said that the NFL camps prepared him for everything, including World's Strongest Man. He's looking pretty good here through 2 reps.
First timer putting up a pretty good fight here, trying to get 1 step closer to the World's Strongest Man final.
You'll notice many of the athletes go barefoot and have those tighter bases that actually brings the bar closer to their body by making them effectively shorter. Gordzielik, through 4 reps, looking pretty strong. You'll see that he starts to lean back into the weight, almost resting. That's one of the things that this apparatus allows for in this non-conventional deadlift.
He didn't get credit there, and he taps out. So 4 reps will be the number for the German Gordzielik.
Gordzielik setting the bar with 4 reps due to a very nice coordinated movement of his hips and his shoulders to take the early lead in this event.
Representing the United States,
Up next, the American Rob Kearney. He's in 4th after 2 events, looking for a big showing here.
He's had a big showing so far. He's looked pretty strong. I think pound for pound, he's kind of built like a bulldog. Got that solid, compact frame. And we saw already in the Giants medley, he's got the glutes and the hams and the quads and the back strength to put on a show. And these first 2 look pretty solid. See how his toes are kind of flared out a little bit there. That's a slightly different technique that allows him to activate and utilize that big strength that he's got through his hips and girdle.
Looking to move into the lead in this event. Can he get that 5th rep? He does. He locks it out. And Kearney, the American, goes into the lead here in the deadlift. That's his husband, Joey, rooting him on. He's had a huge impact in his success.
See how particular Kearney is setting his feet to get back in that position where he feels strongest. And he muscles up and gets that 6th rep. Brent, we rarely see a guy stop and continue on. Kearney showing he's still got something left in the tank.
He goes to a knee, and here he's going to go after it again.
Yeah.
We both had the same thought.
Head fake.
What an effort. 6 reps for the American.
Representing the United States, Kearney.
Crowd's feeling it too. This is a beautiful look at the technique of, quote, pushing through the heels to start the movement. Then his back starts to take over as his hips push through and lock this out.
After another impressive showing by Kearney, can Björnsson rebound from the injury he suffered in the Giants medley and get a second event win? Find out when we return to the Tachi Palace World's Strongest Man, presented by Road. With the white sand of Coquina Beach, we continue the group's 3rd event, the Monster Jam Speedster Deadlift. 3 athletes have already competed. And Kearney isn't ready to lead. He's leading the pack thus far in the Monster Jam Speedster Deadlift, and he's making the final 2 competitors take serious notice. And one of those still to compete, Great Britain's Luke Stoltman. Here in the deadlift, he's currently in a 3-way tie for first, so a great performance in this deadlift can lift him into lofty heights.
Stoltman, a pretty powerful dude. We saw what that impressive lower body strength did in the Monster Jam truck pull. And so far, he's looking good through 3 reps.
6 is the number to beat. Being cheered on by his wife, Kushi, and his brother, Tom Stoltman, who we will see in group number 3 in this year's competition.
Stoltman banged out those first 3. Took him a while to get that 4th, and now he's catching his breath. This is where you see him trying to pump himself up. This is the type of event can be as much mental as it is physical.
And that rest
and that tongue
turned out to be a great idea, right? He's got a second wind, and now 1 more to tie Kearney's mark of 6.
And that's going to do it for Stoltman. The tongue only got him 5 reps.
With 5 successful reps.
So he moves into second place. Shades of Michael Jordan with that tongue out. He gets 5.
Look at that power of Stoltman as he digs deep, pushing through those hills and his back. This is where you can lean back into the apparatus, different from a regular deadlift. And there's that tongue again. That seems to be a little new addition to his game that's working.
Absolutely. And now the defending champ, Hafþór Júlíus Björnsson, still reeling from that foot injury he suffered in the Giants medley. See if it affects his performance here.
It's interesting. The deadlift is a test of static strength, meaning his feet don't move. So if there's an event where he can kind of hide it and work around it, it's this one.
He certainly got the crowd behind him.
And got power for days, Brent. He recently set one of the world records for the deadlift with an astonishing 1,045 pounds last March. And you see he's off to a really quick pace here. That injury on his foot seems to not be a factor.
Number to beat 6. And Hafþór has tied it. And now for the outright lead. There it is. Hafþór Júlíus Björnsson wins the deadlift and goes into first overall in Group 1.
Representing Iceland, Hafþór.
Just making it look easy. Last year he tied for first with 12 reps with Brian Shaw, but he just possesses unreal power. He's athletic for a big man, but proves he can more than hold his own in the static lifts as well.
Here's Jenny.
All right, Thor, we saw you go down in the Giants medley. Can you explain what happened and what your injury is?
I felt a big pop in my left leg. I went and did the MRI, and the doctors informed me that I tore my plantar fascia. I'll still be able to compete. It will just bring me a lot of pain and discomfort during the competition. But I will do everything in my power to keep fighting. This is probably one of the most difficult sports in the world, and I'm not done yet. I'm gonna fight through.
Great job in the deadlift. Congratulations.
Thank you so much.
Yeah!
Well, his injury didn't seem to phase him in the deadlift. Björnsson takes the win. Rob Kearney still fighting, taking second. Stoltman picks up third. Muluzi with 0 reps in the deadlifts gets 0 points, so disappointing for him. That win allows Björnsson to stand alone in first. Kearney and Stoltman now tied for second. Look out for Gordzielik. He's 1 point behind in his World's Strongest Man debut. With only one event remaining before the first athlete qualifies for the final, and only a 2-point difference between the top 3 athletes, this is anybody's game. The overhead press when we return to the Tachi Palace World's Strongest Man, presented by Rogue. Every day is a beach day on Coquina Beach, and we are here to see who our first final competitor will be from Group 1. It's the overhead press.
Well, almost all of us have tested our strength by lifting something heavy overhead. But raise your hand if you've ever done it with a 340-pound log. Exactly. Shoulder, arm, and back strength will all be tested here.
One competitor has already competed, and that is Zake Muluzi from Great Britain. The crowd has been pulling for Zake through all the events, but it seems like these events were a little bit too much for him as he finishes the overhead press with just 2 reps. 35.62 was his time, and a learning process in year 1 for him. Now for our next competitors. Raffael Gordzielik in 4th place after 3 events. And he goes head-to-head with Luke Stoltman of Great Britain, currently tied for 2nd with Rob Kearney. Gordzielik is 1 point behind Stoltman and Kearney.
Brent, this is an interesting event because it's a static lift, but it basically combines a hang clean from the ground and a push jerk up at the top. Stoltman looking really strong. Gordzielik looking a little off balance early on here with his first rep.
Stoltman moving like a machine here in the overhead press, and he has already lapped Gordzielik.
Just a beast, perfect form and power. Just nice, strong press. Gets right back up to get another lift as we see Gordzielik get his 3rd.
How much are you competing against this guy?
You pretty much focus on what it is you want to do. You're aware of what your competitor does, but if you don't have hyper focus on that 340-pound log you're holding, you're in for a disaster.
Stoltman has been strong. That is 7 reps and now 4 for Gordzielik. And he might be tapped out. Well, Stoltman continues on, looking for 8, and he's able to lock that one out.
Gordzielik looked like he was gassed a little bit. This summer heat in Florida getting into him, but Stoltman just beautifully even in form, locks it out. Look at that, Brent, 9 reps.
On the beach in Bradenton with the ocean off in the distance, 9 for Stoltman. Gordzielik unable to lock out his 5th, and that'll do it for these 2. And Stoltman likes it.
Stoltman seems more animated this year, really playing to the crowd and seems to be feeding off it.
4 repetitions in the log lift, representing Germany, Raffael Gordzielik.
So in the log lifts, the overhead press, 4 reps for Gordzielik. He'll move into 2nd in a time of 47.34. And Stoltman puts a really nice mark out there for the next competitors to chase after. 9 reps in a time of 107.58 in the overhead press.
Stoltman's got that strong lower body in the base. Look how he straightens those legs out to get the weight moving. And then his tremendous upper body strength locks it out.
Next up, the champ, Hafþór Júlíus Björnsson, the current group leader. Seeking his 9th World's Strongest Man final in this, his 9th year in the competition. And Rob Kearney has been awfully impressive. Tied for 2nd here in Group 1 after 3 events. Seeking his first trip to the World's Strongest Man final.
This is going to be a good matchup. Pressing power not a problem for Hafþór, and Kearney, he dominates in the log lift. Beats Hafþór to that first rep.
Well, Kearney needs to beat Stoltman's 9 reps and also beat out Hafþór Júlíus Björnsson to automatically qualify for the final after this event.
Kearney looking really smooth, great form and technique, using those hips to lock it out, but Hafþór just straight manhandling that 340-pound log, no legs at all. Look at that.
You said it would be a great one-on-one matchup. It has lived up to the billing, both with 6. Kearney the slight lead. 9 is the number to beat.
Kearney going toe-to-toe with Björnsson, locking out his 8th rep. And look at Hafþór, just straight muscle. He didn't even rest that on his chest that time.
Again, 9 put up by Stoltman, and Kearney ties that number. Now can Hafþór do it? You bet he locks out his 9th. And Hafþór is done, and he's satisfied. Kearney, he might be done, and he is as well. So Stoltman, Kearney, and Björnsson all end up with 9 reps in the overhead press.
With 9 repetitions in the log lift, representing the United States.
Kearney, another excellent performance. Matched Thor and Luke in number of reps, but takes first as he did it in the fastest time.
Hafþór Júlíus Björnsson.
Hafþór, meantime, takes second in the event, but his injury appears to be taking quite a toll on him at this point.
Hafþór was just showing off here, displaying his ridiculous power. Doesn't even rest the log on his chest half the time. Was gingerly setting the log down, but then throws it down after his 9th rep, knowing that he qualifies for the final, looking really ready to defend his title.
Making his way to the 2019 Tachi Palace World's Strongest Man final, representing Iceland, Hafþór Júlíus Björnsson.
So there you go, the scores are confirmed. This guy's worldwide popularity has been amazing. He takes the group on the automatic qualification into the 2019 World's Strongest Man final. Kearney just beats out the competition by taking 9 reps in the fastest time. Thor and Stoltman also posting 9. Gordzielik was able to get 4. So Thor is headed to the final. With their results in the overhead press, Kearney and Stoltman will now battle it out head-to-head in Last Man Standing. With more on that, here's Jenny.
After the break, it all comes down to this one event. Our strongmen will take turns placing this 400-pound stone over this 4.5-foot-high bar. They will go back and forth until one can no longer complete the feat. Who will be the last man standing and secure a spot in the final? Find out next at the Tachi Palace World's Strongest Man.
And welcome back. We have moved to Manatee Public Beach for this group's final event, Last Man Standing.
Brent, this is a winner-take-all event where the athletes will compete for a spot in the final by playing a sick game of hot potato with a 400-pound Atlas stone.
So here we go. Man versus man. It's one-on-one in a stone-off. The American Rob Kearney and the man from Great Britain, Luke Stoltman. Thor has already punched his ticket into the World's Strongest Man final.
Ready?
And now these two men gunning for one more spot, and here they go. 400-pound Atlas stone. You said it was like hot potato. It's like tennis, ping pong, whatever you want to call it. This is drama.
And they're volleying at this 4.5-foot net. Kearney's only 5'10" so already he's at a disadvantage to the 6'3" Stoltman, who seems to very easily be able to pick up this 400-pound stone and drop it over the wall compared to what Kearney's doing, which is resting it on it and then rolling it over.
You wonder how much this is like a game of chess. Two guys playing mind games with each other. Who's got the inner strength? Who has the mental capacity to say, it's mind over matter here?
No doubt. At this point, it's much more than just about strength. The proper mindset and flawless execution are key.
Kearney versus Stoltman. America versus Great Britain. With a trip into the final on the line.
Stoltman not wasting any time getting that stone, almost throwing it at the feet of Kearney.
Rob's husband, Joey, there, and behind him, Luke's wife and father, his wife, Kushi, father, Ben.
See Kearney taking some time to get that stone up over the wall. Remember, there is a 20-second time limit once that stone hits your side of the court to get it back up over the wall. Stoltman not wasting any time, but Kearney starting to slow up here.
And that 20-second clock hasn't become a factor yet, but as the competition keeps going, Kearney taking more and more time each sequence, and he's able to get it over there.
This is where the height advantage of Stoltman really starts to come into play, because he has a much easier time almost big backing that 400-pound stone over the wall.
Kearney catching his breath in the hot sun on the beach here in Bradenton.
Kearney starting to take his time here, picking up the stone. Remember, there is a 20-second time limit once that stone hits your side of the court to get it back up over the bar.
And now it's in Stoltman's court.
This is where being 6'3" really comes in an advantage for Stoltman. He's almost throwing the stone at the feet of Kearney. Kearney got to be careful here. He's taking almost too much time for this attempt.
He's only got 20 seconds, remember. And he's getting close to that 20 seconds. And that's it. You hear in the background the head referee, Magnus for Magnuson, calling time, and Luke Stoltman wins an epic head-to-head battle as the two competitors embrace. Kushi, his wife, Ben, his father. You see the emotion. Remember, Luke's mother passed away in 2016. You gotta think that's a huge part of the story here. And there it is. I love you, Mom. A lot of emotion.
Yeah, it was. Ultimately, Brent, it was the combination of his raw power and the extra 5 inches of height that made the difference for Stoltman, getting one step closer to his dream, and that smile says it all.
And here's Jenny Dell.
Luke, clearly very emotional right now, making it to your first final. Tell me what's going on in your mind.
I'm really emotional. I just wish my mum was here to see that. She was with me from the start. I know my dad will be in tears. This has been a dream for me since I started strongman. Going up against Rob Kearney, he's just such a good role model for everyone. It's hard going up against someone like Rob. He means so much to me as a person. But yeah, I'm buzzing, over the moon. I'm not here to make up the numbers in the final. You know, I'm here to push these big boys. You know, he didn't have it all his way in his group, in our group, so yeah, I'll be looking to take some big names, for sure.
Well, congratulations on your first World's Strongest Man final, Luke.
Thank you, guys, thank you.
So Hafþór, Júlíus Björnsson of Iceland, and Luke Stoltman, representing Great Britain, have earned their ticket to the sport's biggest stage. Kearney put up some impressive performances, but just missed out, coming in third. This season on the Tachi Palace World's Strongest Man, 20 more athletes from around the globe will compete in 5 unimaginable feats of strength, each fighting for their entry into the sport's biggest stage, the World's Strongest Man Final. Continue watching and tune in to CBS Sports Network for your front row seat to all of this year's action. For Aaron Taylor, Jenny Dell, and our entire CBS crew, I'm Brent Stover. In association with Endeavor Content, this has been a presentation of CBS Sports.